In today's chess video, our opponent decided to try to play an anti-colle variation. Let's see if it works against the colle master in today's chess video. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so in this game, we're going to be playing against another 1700 rated player. Let's see if our colle can perform the same ability that it has been the last few days. Now, knight c6 is a strange move. Now, usually knight c6 is really bad. The idea is you can take advantage of it with a move like pawn c4 early on, but we won't be doing that as, well, this is a Kali Zukertort speed run. So we're going to try to get to 2000 as soon as possible with only the Kali Zukertort and only the Philidor defense. a6 is really bad. It's not like I want to play bishop b5. I'm just going to play pawn to b3. I'm going to play bishop b2. I'm holding off on bishop d3 right now due to the fact that, well, if I play bishop d3, he can play knight b4, and that's really annoying. Now, I need to be careful here because if he plays bishop f5 early, I need to play pawn a3 to stop knight to b4 from happening. Now, in these positions, pawn c4 is generally really strong. And so in this position, I may have to do it because there is a rule in the Kali Zukertort that you cannot really play it if your opponent plays g6, as the bishop will be blocked, but you also really cannot be playing it if the opponent's bishop comes out early, because this is just really bad for him because it weakens the light squares, and also I can't play bishop d3, so I need to play c4 immediately with the idea of taking over this d5 square. Generally, I'm supposed to play queen b3 as well, but since I played b3, it's a little bit of that's strange. It's a little bit of a thing we have to do. So he decides to capture us, which is really strange. I'm not sure what's going on here. He even captured on c4, letting me take this pawn for free. Yeah, I'm really confused what's going on in this position, to be honest. What is our opponent doing? Can I not just play something like queen here? This seems a bit spooky for our opponent, I'm not gonna lie. Especially if he's not careful. I can gain a big advantage. He has to play queen d7. And there's even ideas of playing d5, capture. Knight captures bishop b5. Seems pretty good, to be honest. And I don't think that there's anything that can take advantage of it. Maybe d5, pawn captures, queen captures? Rook takes c7, loses the knight. It looks like d5 is just very strong here. Maybe I'm hallucinating. What if he can't just castle. I guess he could move his knight. I guess that's a possibility. He could just move his knight. And I don't really have much. So, okay, that's fine. But if I play something like bishop e2 and he castles, I cannot just castle because knight takes d4 and he has the in-between check on e2. So that's a little bit interesting here in this position. Now d5 just looks really fun though, so... But our king is not castle. There are weaknesses. My king might get in trouble. Oy, oy, oy. These are all things you should be calculating in your own games. And if you're not careful, these are things that could cause you to lose the game. So I think we just play the simple stuff here. I think we just play bishop e2 with the idea of playing queen c2 afterwards. And then just say, hey, our cheapo didn't really work. We should not have tried to attempt the scam there. And in this position, we're just going to retreat. We're going to trade off the pieces and call it a day. Because again, we are just up a pawn in this position. Knight there, what does that move do? Well, I'm not too sure, so I'm just going to retreat all the way. This move seems bad. Maybe he's trying to play c5, I guess? Okay, he plays h6. To be honest, this seems like our worst opponent yet, to be honest. This guy seems to be playing absolute nonsense here. c6? What? What does this do? Wait, I could have played knight e5 all these moves. Let's just play knight e5, slam down pawn c5, like shut down his position here. Like, what is going on here? This guy's also under attack too with my bishop. He wants to trade pieces, which I guess makes sense because his position is so bad. But, like, what? I'm actually so confused. This looks so bad. What if I just play knight here? Generally, you don't want to trade pieces when you have so much space like this, so I'm not going to trade because why should I? If my opponent wants to trade, he needs to give me favorable trade deals here. So I'm going to play something like bishop d2, slam down on a5, get my bad bishop into the game, and we're just going to, like, destroy him. Like, in this position, he moves back. I guess he's trying to come here, but I'm just going to come here, slam him over here. And I think he's just going to lose the game, to be honest. I guess you could play knight here. But again, that doesn't really do anything. Oh my. I think my opponent may have let his little brother play on his account today. I think that is the only explanation, because I've never seen a 1700 rated player play this badly, to be honest. This is extremely bad. Now, I could play bishop here, but he has knight g5, and that might be a little bit annoying. What if I play here? Um, I feel like this doesn't really get us anywhere, so what if we just double up? Can he, like, do some weird skewer? No. Let's just move here, and the idea is I'm just going to double up here. Yeah, we're going to double up, and we're just going to essentially destroy our opponent here. Like, we're bringing in all our pieces. Every one of our pieces here are going to come in and attack him. And he's just moving the knight back and forth. Okay, I have no idea what's going on there. Okay, he moves here. He's probably trying to play knight d5, which is fine. I don't really mind. I'm just going to double up here. Yep, he plays knight there. Let's move all the way back. That's fine. We have ideas of like pawn e4 in the future, just kicking his knight away. Tell him that nobody likes his knight in this position. And yeah, we're just going to put pressure on all our opponent's pieces. I think knight e5 makes a lot of sense in the future. Now he plays bishop here. The pawn technically is pinned, but it's not like he's going to sack his queen here. So what if I just plop my knight here? This seems pretty strong. He can't ever move his knight now. Not that he could move his knight now that I think about it. What if I just try to trade him over here? Just try to use my bishop f3, take his knight, and go from there. Knight d6 looks so strong, with the idea of playing knight here, trading off the knights, and getting my rook to the 7th rank. You know what? This just looks pretty good. I'm going to get my knight here. I'm going to force the trade, threaten rook b7, trapping his queen. This queen is in a terrible situation here, to be honest. So once I slam knight b7 down, threatening to take here and playing rook b7, I think my opponent might be forced to resign in that position. His only good piece is a knight, but in any position, if you just have one good piece, that's never enough to just win the game. So this is just really bad from our opponent. Okay, our opponent makes sense. He plays this move over here. He understands what was going on. He understands that he was about to lose his queen, so he runs away. Now, what if I just take here and then just play rook here and just threaten the c6 pawn and the a6 pawn all at the same time? To be honest, looks pretty good. Let's do it. Now, my opponent might be threatening to play e5, but I think that's fine. Oh, I realized I can't actually play that. I have to play something like queen here instead. Threatening this, threatening that. Oh no, but I allowed this. But that's fine. Doesn't really matter. We win too many of his pawns. I've been falling for these forks way too often lately. Now, luckily, my opponent didn't see it, so we'll just take advantage of it right away with something like this. I can't be making these mistakes. Making these mistakes are really bad at my level, and as a title player, I really shouldn't be falling for these. Now, okay, we need to stop this from happening. Also, e5 is kind of annoying. Okay, I think we just play rook b3. Yeah, I think we just play rook b3. Don't allow any like knight c3 ideas. We still have full control on the 7th rank, full control of this square over here. He's protecting his pawn here, which makes sense. What if I play bishop f3 attacking this guy? Seems pretty good. I can also try to win this guy, but I get pinned. I'm not sure if I like that. So let's just play bishop f3. It's a simple move here, just threatening to take the pawn this way. And my opponent can't actually bring in a piece here to defend. If I was him, I would have played e5 yesterday, so I can, you know, at least try to get something here. But my opponent plays knight d5, allows me to just take the pawn for free, make sure there are no forks. Yeah, this looks pretty good. We just take here. We're slowly entering his position over here. We're threatening to win his knight over here as well, so I think we'll take it. Do we have any tactics here? I think we're fine. We'll just take here. The last thing that I'm afraid of in these type of positions is getting back rank mated. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. So, okay, he takes there. If I take here, he takes, pawn takes. This should be just absolutely crushing for me. But what if I just take here with my pawn? It looks even better because I have just so many active pieces. So, but if I take with the pawn and rook c8, but then I have rook c7, yeah, it looks fine. If he plays that, I play rook c7, and we're protected there. Yep, he's just trying to scam me with the back rank, but as I said, sorry, rook c7 is enough to defend here, and I also win his a6 pawn in the future. So let's see what our opponent does here. I think he will just take my bishop on d5. I think that just makes a lot of sense. Then I'll play rook c3 and just triple up on the c file. I believe this is called an Alekhine's gun in this position, and they're very, very, very strong. Now, if I play this, he might be threatening to play rook b1 check and be annoying. After playing rook b8, which is fine, I'll just move back, and that should be fine. And then we'll just push. Okay, he's trying to scam me. I will not allow that to happen. We'll play rook c1. Make sure we don't move this rook up. Now, you might ask why I didn't play something like pawn g3. Pawn g3 is definitely possible in these type of positions. There's nothing wrong with it. So, I think we'll just win the pawn. Why not? No threat. We're also threatening f7 ideas, so his other rook can never come into the game. And then if you play something like queen f6, which again, our opponent can only try to do these scam moves, we have a lot of different ideas here. One of them is we could just move back here and just say, hey, I'm not going to let you do or have any compensation in these type of positions. So we could do something like this. He offers a trade. I could move back and say, hey, I improved my position a little bit, so that's fine with me. I could also offer a trade, which is fine. To be honest, there's a lot of things I could do in this position that I think are good, but I don't think trading here is good. I think we just go back here, and if he moves back, then I think we play something like queen. No, we don't play queen f3. Maybe we just play this passive move, rook f1. I think rook f1 is completely fine here. We just defend f2 and just say, hey, you don't have anything ever. And then I'm just going to keep pushing. Push, 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 all the way to the end. Yep, that's fine. If you want to go to the back row, that is completely fine. I'm just going to push. If you play rook b1, I'm just going to play rook c2, c1. And then I'm going to push, push, push. Just keep pushing here. I'm also threatening rook c8 in this position here, so my opponent ought to be careful here. Okay, so he plays something like that, which makes sense. But when you have to retreat like this is never good for you. If I play rook here, do I have anything? Rook captures rook. Okay, let's just go fast. Let's play rook to c1, threatening rook c8. Opponent plays king here. I'll just check him. I'll just check him over here. If he plays g6, I take the pawn. If he goes back, rook c8. Rook c8. And there's no back rank checkmates because after rook captures, I'll just capture here. And we can even be funny and we can even take with the rook. And our opponent will be very upset in that position. So our opponent resigned. Makes a lot of sense. This was a relatively simple game. So let's go straight into the analysis. Okay, 88.5% accuracy. I think it's because of that knight c3 move. I think that was a pretty big mistake. I am pretty sure that would be over here. When it went down a little bit over here, but that's completely okay. So again, the Colle-Zukertort is an opening where it's very flexible. But there are a couple things that you guys do need to know in the Colle-Zukertort. For example, what to do if your opponent moves out the bishop early, or if your opponent moves a move like knight to c6. Now, though this is a challenge where I am trying to just play the Colle-Zukertort, I think it is important for you Colle-Zukertort enjoyers to know what to do if your opponent makes mistakes like pawn a6 or like bishop f5 early. While b3 is not technically accurate, in this position c4 is a very strong type of move in this position. The idea being this is weak, and you know, his light squares are all very weak because his knight is here. I decided to play pawn b3. It's not great, but it is what it is. a3 is good, stops knight b4. This is what I always recommend if you see something like this in the queen's pawn opening, so you don't get scammed with knight b4, and then you just play pawn c4 in these positions. Now, this is just completely inaccurate. I don't know why he would trade off such a good bishop for such a useless knight on b1. He captures, which is even worse. We capture back, b7, the pawn is hanging, we just take it, life is good. Queen a4, I'm surprised it says it's excellent. I thought it would be pretty bad. Bishop b2 is good, bishop d3 is better. I just didn't like e5 ideas, though I guess I shouldn't be too afraid of that. Castles, queen c2 is excellent, bishop d1 it says is the best, just making sure there's no scams. By the way, in case you guys were wondering what the scam was, I'm pretty sure this is a blunder because your opponent has knight takes d4, and if you take his queen, well, he takes here, and he's actually up a piece at the end of this, which is not good for us. And that's a common tactic, so be careful about these type of things. But, you know, in this position, I just play queen c1, c2, just avoiding all the trouble. He moves back, I move back. He plays h6, I'm just developing my pieces slowly but surely. And as you guys can see over here, we're just completely positionally dominating my opponent. Like, this is just terrible. Slowly, we're bringing our pieces one by one. Our opponent is doing literally nothing. And eventually, we break through by trading off one of his very important pieces that are defending. Now, it doesn't like queen a4. It prefers knight to c3. Oh, because of knight c3, as I mentioned earlier. But my opponent doesn't see it. So we just play there, and then we just defend against all the threats with rook 1 to b3, saying, hey, no rook c3 in the future. Knight to e7, bishop f3, attacking c6. And the rest is essentially history. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please leave a like and please subscribe, leave a kind comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.